Okay, so I promised I would do a video on swapping over these batteries, so here I am. I'm gonna go talk about kind of what it takes to get these batteries on. Here's the old package I have here. I've kind of taken it apart a little bit. Um, you can see here at the very top, take the tape off and kind of expose some terminals on it. There's 4 terminals, 2 for each battery, a positive and a negative. You can kind of see those up top. Our goal is to solder those, or unsolder those, and then solder on the new batteries. We want that circuit that's already on this battery, because it's different than what comes on the battery we already have. This one is a circuit that has a spot for 2 batteries, which is kind of what we need for this to happen. So, the other ones, it comes with a little circuit on it that you're going to have to snip off here, but this circuit has a spot for both batteries. You can see right there, yeah. So those guys there are going to have to be unsoldered. I'll show you that here in a couple minutes. Here is the battery that it came with. You're going to have to get all this tape off, and where these wires come out, you're going to have to snip off that circuit because we don't want it. That's a circuit that's designed for only one battery. So here it is with the tape off. Uh, yep, there's those 2 terminals. You're going to want to snip those right off from that circuit because we don't want that circuit. It is not big enough for what we want. So I'm just going to snip these off right at the base there. You can see once I snip that off, there's the charging circuit. Once I focus, there you go, here's the charging circuit. Now it's important to know, once you get this, just get rid of it. You don't really want it. Just use this. Yep, there you go. There you go. And next battery, I'm going to peel off the tape and snip this guy off too. Snip, snip. Alright, circuit has been freed. Take a good look at it and get rid of that too. Don't want it. Now, I'm going to test the batteries here just to make sure I have the poles right. You really don't need to do this. I just need to make sure that all the poles were correct on this before I slapped any battery where it didn't belong, because I'd hate to instruct you to do anything and then it blows up on your end. So this is our battery, should be sitting around 3.8 volts. You can see once I hook up the terminals right now, right there, you can see 3.8 volts. That's the positive negative side of that battery, kind of confirm the polarity. So once I have the polarity confirmed and I know the polarities of the batteries, I kind of confirmed, orientation is kind of what I expect it to be on these batteries. They're identical to what is coming off of, you know, coming out of this battery pack. I'm going to desolder the 2 terminals up top for each battery. I'm just taking some desoldering ribbon. I put some flux on it because it kind of makes it pull solder up a lot quicker. And I just kind of stick it across these terminals here and get this old solder off so that I can pull these batteries off. You really should not do this. You should never really pry. It damages the PCB when you pry up like that. I don't know what I was doing. I was just getting irritated. Don't do that. That's bad. That circuit did not deserve prying like that. I actually think I damaged my PCB a little bit when I did that, so I really would not suggest doing that. So there you go. Both batteries are off. And you can see the 4 terminals on top that have no batteries. We're going to have to replace, solder those 2 new battery on to where those terminals are open. There's those 2 terminals there. You fold them over like that so that you can solder them back on where the other battery popped off. And you can kind of see I've copied the orientation of the batteries I took off. It needs to be an exact orientation. That little circuit should fit right up there in that little concave of that battery. If you don't have it fitting up there like that, you've done wrong. Switch that battery around. There it is. We're soldering on our first battery. Make sure to get good contact with both of those. I put a little bit of flux on each one of those terminals to give it penetration I needed. And here I just got done soldering on the other battery pack, and in any second I will actually bring the battery into the view of the camera frame, and we can see that. There it is. So you get all 4 terminals there soldered on. Now, the problem with this is the batteries, once they're soldered on, they're going to need to be taped back together because they kind of want to split apart, and that's no good. So I got some Captain tape and kind of taped that up just kind of like the way they had it stock. I didn't really have a roll of it. I had a sheet from a 3D printer, so I cut off a strip of that guy and from the sheet that I had and kind of just used that as my roll and tape these batteries together. In a few seconds you kind of will see that I have these batteries all taped together. There it is. But I broke that battery lead, so I'm going to have to resolder that on. Any second, there it is. You can solder these back on. If you're more careful than I am, then you won't have to resolder these on. That was a big mistake. They are pretty delicate. Alright, there you go. Batteries been soldered all back together. Notice I put Captain tape on the top to cover those terminals in a cross pattern. You do not want those terminals to be able to touch any of the other metals. So those 4 posts that you just saw the batteries on, tape those up well. Before they had that white kind of like painter's tape on top, I put Captain tape back, but you need to make sure that it has full coverage over those terminals, or else you're going to short against those tabs up top, and you do not want those to short out against the tabs up top. That will be a problem, and that's just kind of what it takes. Once you stick it back together, you'll probably need some glue to kind of hold this case back together. I'm probably just going to put Captain tape back around it because I don't want to glue it back together. Just in case there's problems inside this, I want to be able to get back inside, so I'll just probably put a row, not a row, but wrap it in Captain tape just to hold it back together, and that's really all it takes. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Good luck.